All right, everyone, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at the Inca. This is South America. It's the West Coast in the Andes Mountains. All right, so we start seeing the settlement of people here between 100 and 600 AD. So, 1400 to 1900 years ago. Though the Incan Empire would not actually be established until roughly 100 years before the Spanish arrive. Now, the Inca, they have a wealthy city-state by the name of Machu Picchu. That's like their capital, and it's all good there. We don't know a lot about early Incan history because the Spanish destroyed a ton of material, so we kind of have to go off of what we can find, which is not too much. All right. The Inca settled in Cusco, which was actually the capital, not Machu Picchu. That was just a very important city. All right. So starting out, we're going to see Pachacuti and his son Topa Inca Yupanqui, and they ruled the Inca during the greatest period of expansion for the Incan people, which is going to really give us the Incan Empire. All right, and that's going to be modern-day Peru and most of Chile, which is that long, thin country that goes down the west coast. Basically, if you can see my cursor, goes right along the western edge, right here. All right. It's a long, thin empire. It's about 2,500 miles long, but not very wide, as you can see from the purple shading on that map. The emperor in the Incan Empire and his officials closely regulated the lives of the people. So very strict laws and rules to live by. They were polytheistic, much like the other cultures that we've talked about for the native Western cultures here. Many gods. They had a god that was the creator, Viracocha, and the sun god Inti. Those are like two of their most prominent ones. Now, something really cool about the Inca with their record keeping was it was actually knotted rope. So they would use numbers of knots and the distance between them to actually keep records of seasonal changes and calculations on building roads, all this type of stuff. I can't read it, but we do have ways that historians and archaeologists can translate what the meaning between the knots in these ropes means. All right, llamas. They were the pack animals. They were like the donkeys and the mules. They were the workforce animal of the Inca. They didn't ride them. Llamas aren't big enough to really support that, like us using them as cavalry. So yeah, no dreams of the of guys fighting from llama back instead of horseback. Now, since the Inca were in such a mountainous region, they had what is called terrace farming, which you can see a great example of that with terracing on that bottom picture. It's where they take a slope of a mountain or a hill and they dig steps into it so you have flat areas for planting crops. And like the Aztec before them, they were no match for the Spanish when they arrived, and yeah, it was just a brutal massacre with disease and fighting, mostly disease with the Inca, and they would fall really quickly. All right, so go ahead and pause and take a look at this chart, and it'll give you the summary of what you do need to know about the Maya, Aztec, and Inca. And that is going to basically settle things up for us, and that the biggest achievements and contributions that these people gave were calendars, mathematics, and having a record system in writing. All right, that's going to do it for the Western cultures and for the information that you missed from last school year. So go ahead and be sure to review over the information that you've gotten over these last 3 weeks and prepare to take a quiz on things for Friday of this week. And then we will begin all of our new material, the stuff that's actually for, World 2, next week on Monday.